Hey guys, Simon here. So some of you have been asking me how I produce my covers, so I thought I'd just make a video for you guys watching the channel. Now that my guitar and my bass guitar are both in for repair, I can't really record anything new, so this video will have to do for now. Please let me know in the comments below if you like these kind of videos, if I should continue to make these, or just let me know what you think. So before we get into the video, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a lot and I do appreciate it. You can hit the notification bell to get notified when I upload a video in the future. So yeah, let's go. So we're jumping into my DAW choice here, which is Cubase. And the first thing you'll notice here is there's a lot of colors in here. And that's just a way for me to navigate the project. For example, I always know that the lead guitar is orange. And the octave guitar is dark orange. Rhythm guitars are yellow. Keys are red, stuff like that. So I can just pull this out here and then I'll have more space to work with, which is pretty nice. So we only have 16 tracks in total, so it's not a huge project. So that's keyboard, synthesizer, drums, lead guitar, octave guitar, solo guitar, 2 sets of rhythm guitars, strum guitar, triplet guitar, 2 basses and a bass group. So the first thing I always do when I start on a new project is I lay the foundation of the whole song, which is the synthesizer to me. So what I'm working with here is just a stock plugin from Cubase, Helion Sonic SE, and we're using the string ensemble too, so nothing fancy. So I start out by listening to the song, of course, and this song starts with this C minor, A flat major, and so on. Then I figure out the whole song like that. I try stuff back and forth until I figure out what's going on. And then when I'm actually laying the chords down with the synthesizer, what I do is I click up here in the right corner, so we get this chord pad thing out. And what's so smart about that is you can click out here and you can get all kinds of scales up here. And you can also click here and find all the chords that you can think of, basically. And you can also play them in different variations. So this is a really good tool to help you figure out stuff for your songwriting or whatever you're doing. It's just nice to have. And when I pull these ones out, then it'll say what kind of chord we have. So actually it also works like a chord map of the song. So when I've done all this, then I won't have to think about which chords are playing. So it makes it a lot easier for me. And the only thing I do to the synth basically is I put on my SSL EQ here. So let's listen to it on its own. It sounds kind of bright. I don't know if you can hear it. I've been having a lot of trouble with my screen/audio recorder. It doesn't record my internal audio for some reason. I've been trying for several days now, so yeah, let's see if this works. So it's kind of bright here. So if I dial this one down, then what we're doing is that we're cutting off the high end of the synth, so we're only getting the bass, which is what we want from this one, because we only want the synthesizer to fill out all the gaps in the song and to make the foundation. We don't actually want to hear this in the final mix. We just want it to fill out the gaps. So when I've done the whole synth thing, then I'm jumping to the drums. And for that, I'm using Get Good Drums, One Kid Wonder, Modern Fusion, which is very cool. What you can do here is you can choose the CPU scaling. I always choose the high one for best performance. And they even built in parallel compression and master EQ. So if you're like me and you don't want to spend hours mixing your drums, you can actually just stick with this and it'll sound pretty good. So this is what it sounds like. Yeah. And if you want to, you can change the master volume, master reverb, and there's even a mixer down here, so you can do a lot of stuff with it if you want to. But this is pretty much how I use mine. I mean, I don't do a lot of stuff to it actually. And how it works is you open this menu here, and then you can simply just click in all the drum hits. All the keys have a different drum sound. So yeah, so for the intro fill thing, I was clicking all of these small ones in, and then changing the velocity so it sounds like this on its own. Yeah, and the verse. So for a song like this, it doesn't take a lot of time to program these drums, but if you're working with something a little bit harder, then it can take a while. It can be kind of time consuming to make these drums. So after the drums, I'm moving on to keyboard, and here I'm using the native instruments, TheGentleman, which is a very nice keyboard piano, I guess. You have a lot of options here, like you can change the tone, soft to hard, bass, body, air, compression, open lid, closed lid, and you can change the anatomy, and you can you have space here, which is kind of like reverb for a guitar, and you can change the setting which the piano has been recorded in. So large hall, jazz club, music club, bright stage, whatever you feel like. I usually use this concert hall 3. So yeah, this is what it sounds like. It sounds really nice. So the only thing that the melody keyboard is playing in this case is that one C note that's going through the whole song. So on its own, it sounds kind of annoying. Yeah, but it's hidden behind the guitar. In the mix, I think it does something nice, but on its own, it's pretty annoying. So yeah, and then we have the other keyboard, which is playing these chords that you see here in different variations, though. So it sounds like this with all of these 4 combined. Sounds pretty nice. I hope I don't get copyrighted for this. The reason I'm playing these very tiny parts of the song is because I don't want to get copyrighted for this. So yeah, let's see. Next up, we have the guitars, and for the guitars, I'm using STL Tonality, AndyJames plugin, and the SSL EQ. The nice thing about STL Tonality is that it sounds so good straight out the box. I mean, I was a Helix user before, and I could spend days making a shitty guitar tone with the Helix, and it wasn't for me, that's for sure. With this stuff, I mean, no matter what I do, basically, my tone sounds pretty good. So you have 3 sets of amps, 3 sets of caps here, and then of course you can put your own IR in there. You have these stomps, effects, so it's very easy to navigate as well. So I really dig it. And then of course the SSL EQ, which is very nice as well. So I would start with the Strum Guitar, which is playing this part. Yeah, and that's all it's playing throughout the whole song. And I've panned this 15 to the right, so it doesn't take up space in the middle. We want the lead guitar to dominate the middle, so just by moving this 15 to the right, we get a lot of space in there, which is what we want. So yeah, the next one is the Triplets Strum Guitar. The reason I split those two is because this one has a slightly different guitar tone, and I moved this one 15 to the left instead to take up some space in the other side. Next up we have rhythm guitars. So the left one I panned all the way to the left, the right one all the way to the right. And the reason that we do this, especially in metal, is because you want it to sound as wide as possible. And this is how you achieve that. So you put these ones all the way to the side. You can't just copy this one and put it in the other side, because if the tracks are identical and they're playing at the same time, it's gonna sound like it's mono anyway. So you need to record yourself twice, which is also gonna make it sound like there are actually two guitar players playing, which also sounds a lot better in the final mix. So record yourself twice, put one in the left side, one on the right side, and then you're good to go. Of course, here I'm also using STL Tonality, is SSL EQ with some different settings, of course. The other rhythm guitar is only playing this part. Yeah, it's a very small section there. What I've did with these is I've panned them 70 to the sides instead, so they're not, so you know, everything has its own space throughout the mix. They're not as far out as the other rhythm guitars. They fit right in there. Next up we have the bass, and this is actually pretty smart. This is the same bass recording, so you don't have to record the bass twice. I just recorded this once, duplicated the track, and then this bass is a bass without bass, basically. So it sounds like this. Yeah, so there's not a lot of bass. It's only the sound of the bass notes you can hear. And then this one only has bass. I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'll have to figure out another way to record my audio, but this one is only bass. So what you can do with this is you can, if you have these and you want more bass in your bass, you can just turn up the bass and turn down the bass sound. I mean, and if you the other way around, you can just turn up the bass sound and turn down the bass. So it's very smart. On here I have a compression, SSL EQ. This one has compression, and then they're both going into this bass group right here, which has some more compression. And the reason that we're compressing the basses this much is because what I want from a bass in a mix is for it to be consistent. You want it to sound as flat as possible, so it doesn't suddenly spike through the mix or anything like that. You want to be able to control it. So by compressing it that much, you force it to stay flat. And another thing you can do is to use a thin pick like this, which means that when you strum, it will help you eliminate hard hits with your pick. So this combined with the compression will make your bass sound completely flat. So that's a nice bass hack for you guys, I think. So last but not least, we have the lead guitars. What I did with this one was I cut out the top and the bottom, so it's like a needle in the mix. So on its own it might sound kind of thin, but in the mix it's fine if it's just thin and sharp, because you actually want it to make more space for the other instruments, especially if you have a lot of things going on. That's it. And the other octave guitar has the same tone and the same equalizing, and I just panned that 32 to the right so it doesn't battle with the lead guitar, so it's like the only one on the one side. So the thing with these octaves and harmonies is that I could just put a plugin on here if I wanted to make, through my Helix native thing here, I could just go in here and put a where is it? A simple pitch, and then a -12, and then this would technically be some kind of octave thing going on here. But I don't think that this sounds as good. I think it sounds a lot better if you record yourself twice, if you record all of the extra instruments you want here. So I always record the octave, so together it sounds like this. So yeah, it makes the guitar tone a lot wider, which I really like. I really like that sound. So I pretty much always put in these octaves on the chorus or whatever. And then of course we have the solo, which has the same tone and the same settings as the lead guitar. It sounds like this on its own. Awesome. That's it, guys. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I hope you had fun. Let me know if you liked it. See you in the next one.